Welcome to today's lecture. This is Blessed Elvis. So in today's lesson, we are going to discuss the composite functions. Well, the composite functions are simple functions which can be replaced into another function. Okay, let's understand this using examples. So, however, before we go into examples, let's understand this. This can be written as, let's say you may find something like for f(o) of g of x here. When you have something like this is a composite function. You can also have something like g, let's say f, and then you have this. This is also a composite function. So you can also have, let's say, g of x. This is a composite function. So even if you have g f of x, this also is a composite function. This is how the composite functions are represented. So you can be given two functions and then be asked to find f g of x. Okay, so let's look at examples so that we can understand much better. So let's say you may be given two functions. Let's say f of x equals to x plus 1. And then you also have been given another function. Let's say g of x equals to, let's say, 2x. The first one, let's say you have been asked to find f(o) of x. So what this simply means is that in this function, which is f of x, you replace with the function g of x. Okay, so in this case, let's begin by writing the function f of x. So this is the same as, in the function of f, you replace where there is x with the function of g of x. So the function of f of x is x plus 1. So where there is x, I'm going to replace with what? G of x. So we're going to have g of x, okay, plus 1. Now, where there is g of x, the g of x we have is what? It's 2x. So I'm going to replace with 2x for g of x, then plus 1. That's it. That's the answer for this question. Let's say you have f of x equals to, let's say, x squared minus 3, and then g of x, let's say this equals to, let's say, x over 2. And then you have been asked, let's say, to find g f of x. So how can we go about this? So what this simply means is that in this function of g, where there is x, we replace with the function of f. So the function of g, where there is x, we replace with the function of f. So let's do that. So the function of g we have is x over 2. So where there is x, we are going to replace with the function of f of x. And we know that the function for f of x is x squared minus 3 over 2 that we have down there. So this is the concept behind the composite functions. Let's look at one last example. Let's say you have been given f of x equals, let's say, x minus 3 over x plus 2, and then g of x, let's say you have this equals to, okay, let's say you have this equals to x plus 1. And then you have been asked to say, find the value of f or g of x. So how can we go about this one? Well, what this simply means is that in the function of f, you're going to replace with the function of g of x. So in this case then, the function of f we have, we will replace where there is x with the function of g. So in this case, you're going to have the function of f, of course, we have is x minus 3 over, down there we have x plus 2. So whenever there is x, we are replacing with the function of g, that is, so g of x minus 3 over g of x plus 2. Okay, so in this case we are going to have f o of g of x is going to be equal to, so where there is g of x, we're going to replace with its function, which is x plus 1. So that's x plus 1. Now remember, we have minus 3 here, so it's going to be minus 3 over, where there is g of x, we're going to replace with its function, that's x plus 1, and then plus positive 2 there. So we have plus 2 here. So let's just wrap this part here because it might just disturb our calculations. So in this case, we're going to simplify the given function now. So what you're going to have here is simply, where there is x, it's going to be just x, and then 1 minus 3 is simply negative 2, and then we're going to have x, 1 added to 2 is 3. So in this case, fo of g of x is simply x minus 2 over x plus 3. So this is how we solve the composite functions. So that's all for this video. Thanks once again guys for staying this far. Please like, subscribe, share and turn on the notification button so that you are updated whenever I upload a new video. Stay blessed.